In February 2021, London Supreme Court a decision about recognizing worker status of Uber drivers caused introduced a new way of looking at the gig economy and employment acts across the globe, with the Uber and Lyft drivers celebrating their victory over being recognized as workers. This therefore throws a spotlight on how robust the Employment Amendment Bill 2019, signed into law by President Uhuru Kenyatta this week, is in covering all emerging sectors of the economy, especially the gig economy. Now, the new Employment Amendment Act 2019 amends the Employment Act of 2007, among other provisions, which include a 1-month pre-adoptive leave with full pay to parents who apply for the adoption of children. On its part, the Business Laws Amendment Act of 2021 amends several statutes to facilitate the ease of doing business in Kenya. Now, the Law of Contracts Act, the Industrial Training Act, the Stamp Duty Act, the National Hospital Insurance Fund Act 1998 are among the statutes amended by the new law. Now, joining us this morning to talk to us about how the new law is bound to affect the digital hailing and taxi services in the country is Wycliffe Alutulala. Let me check that again. Wow, I knew I was going to run into a problem with this. Alutulala, Secretary General, Digital Partners Society. Wycliffe, good morning, sir.
Morning to you.
There are a lot of issues that we are bound to talk this morning, especially when it comes to the digital issues or the digital economy in the country this morning.
Yeah.
But let me begin from that, because we have to talk about it.
Yes.
Are you celebrating the new Amendment Act of 2019 when it comes to the Employment Act of Kenya?
Okay, first of all, let me say good morning to all guys watching out there. And may I start by saying that, first of all, I want to celebrate the UK Supreme Court because, as you well know, this is a case that was actually started in 2016.
Yes.
So it has been a long journey for the UK drivers, and this final judgment, I'm calling it final because that is the highest court in the Supreme in the UK.
Yes.
Made a decision, and this decision was made unanimously by a bench of 7 judges. Now, what this ruling means to the UK drivers is that they are now going to be regarded as workers and not the independent contractor style of doing things.
Yes.
Now, this is a ruling that we as Kenyans have always been talking about. And this is a decision that we have always held this position, that the gig economy, as it is called,
Yes.
is actually a camouflage to hoodwink the world, and in our case, to hoodwink Kenyans, that the gig economy is not unemployment per se. But our position has always been that in any arrangement where someone determines how much you earn,
Yes.
how much you can make in a day, or how much you can make per hour, and how many hours you can work, that one is an employment. Because you can't tell me that I am an independent contractor who cannot dictate my income.
Yes.
That is not independence. So we are happy that the world is now realizing that what we have been speaking about all along was true, that the Uber specifically,
Yes.
mode of engagement, was a rip-off. Because you find a situation whereby you are saying that drivers are independent contractors.
Yes.
But these drivers cannot determine their income. You are the one fixing the prices. You are the one determining how much commission the drivers pay you without any consultation. So to us, our position has always been, and still remains, that Uber style of operation has been a fraud.
Yes.
And now that the UK Supreme Court has ruled in that line, we believe and trust that the Kenyan government shall move with speed and ensure that what Uber is doing in Kenya is checked. Ironically, I'm not afraid to say that we are very unlucky that Kenya is the only country where an investor comes, he's given a license to operate. After 6 years of operation, the government is still saying this is a new phenomenon. 6 years down the line. Now, we've been to all government offices. In 2019,
Yes.
we pushed for government to regulate the digital taxi industry in this country.
Yes.
Now, through our efforts and through the Senate, we managed to table a bill before the Senate through Senator Mtula Kilonzo, where we came up with what we call the Digital Taxi Rules 2019.
Yes.
Now, the bill was taken before the Labor and Social Welfare Committee, which is chaired by Senator Sakaja.
Yes.
And the committee led by Senator Sakaja did a lot on it, and I want to thank him for that as the chair. Now, the bill was taken out for public participation. We went across this country in around 10 cities.
Yes.
Now, just as we had finalized the public participation, that was in November 2019. As we entered 2020 is when Corona struck. So the bill, as we speak, is currently lying at the Senate Committee on Delegated Legislation.
Yes.
And it is also at the Parliamentary Committee on Delegated Legislation.
Yes.
We are hoping that the committee shall move very fast and implement those regulations so that at least we have a framework. We are not saying that these regulations is a one-stop shop for everything, but at least it will give a framework of how this industry is going to be run going forward.
Yes.
Yes.
Pretty much. Now, Wycliffe, let's talk about that. Does it mean that this ruling by the London Supreme Court would therefore mean that anywhere where Uber operates, they have to treat anybody who signed on an Uber as a worker, or that is left for the specific government to actually follow suit?
Now, as Digital Partner Society,
Yes.
we are still engaging our lawyers.
Yes.
We are actually discussing that ruling with our lawyers, and we are actually discussing the ruling with our membership.
Yes.
Now, what is coming out is that you will remember we did a presser some 1 month ago.
Yes.
Where our focus was actually this ruling. And we said we are calling upon the Labour CS to come up with a formula of how we can see this ruling effected
Yes.
in the country.
Yes.
And one of the media stations reached out to the CS, and the CS said that the ruling cannot be applied in Kenya per se. So our position is, we all know that our Kenyan law is part of the Commonwealth law.
Yes.
So we know what is happening, and we know what to do, and we are on it. What we are going to do is that if government is going to take too long
Yes.
to pass those regulations at the National Assembly, what we are deciding to do is that we are going to seek legal assistance through the courts.
Yes.
Because some of these things, they are in our laws. For example, it is clear that any Kenyan worker needs social protection.
Yes.
Our Uber drivers don't have NSSF, they don't have NHIF. Just because Uber came and said we are just an app, which to us it was a lie, because the Uber drivers don't determine their fares. The Uber drivers never determine their income. The Uber drivers never determine how long they can work. And yet all these are stipulated in our labor laws. So what we are saying is that we are looking forward to government passing the digital tax rules,
Yes.
regulations before the parliament.
Yes.
And if it is going to take too long, we are going to be forced to take legal action so that this thing can be decided through court.
Pretty much. Now, Wycliffe, in the past,
Yeah.
we've actually even had Uber threaten that, well, if things really don't go the way that we anticipate for them to go, then even an exit from the market was actually part of what they were threatening about. Wycliffe, how difficult is it really for the gig economy, and especially now your area specifically, these taxi hailing apps,
Yeah.
to actually treat someone like an employer?
You know, this UK ruling is just one ruling
Yes.
out of many other cases worldwide.
Yes.
We've seen this in Chile, Brazil,
Yes.
Canada, and many cities in the US.
And is it working for them after this ruling?
Many countries,
Yes.
it is working. And you know, my brother, one thing you have to know, it is very difficult to beat an idea whose time has come.
Yes.
This world is now a global village. And this world is now turning out to have a shortage of fools. People are now enlightened. People know what is going on worldwide. So I'm very sure that Uber as a company has very limited options. It has very limited options.
Yes.
And in our Kenyan scenario, we have actually changed our strategy. From, as you will recall, from 2015, we have been going on the streets almost every year.
Yes.
And we realized, around 2019, we realized that the streets were not bearing much. That is when we changed our strategy, number one, and decided to engage government. We have engaged government now for 2 years, from 2019, 2020, now
Yes.
this is the third year.
Yes.
We have seen their speed is a bit slow. And also, given the history of Uber worldwide, we are not very sure that this process is moving at that speed, just normally.
Yes.
So what we have decided is that, you know, in this ecosystem of the digital taxi business, we have three parties, actually four.
Yes.
We have government, we have the application companies, we have the driver, and we have the owner of the car. Now, what we have decided is that as government takes its time to come up with the regulations, we as the owners of these cars and the drivers who drive these cars,
Yes.
we are going to self-regulate. By self-regulating, what I mean is we have decided that we are going only to work with those companies that are willing to work with us. And by willing to work with us, what we are saying is we are only going to work with those companies that are willing to come, sit with us, agree on how we are going to run this business. This month, on 15th, we did a press conference.
Yes.
Where we issued a 14-day notice to all companies that are working in this country to come on board. We sit down and agree. As you all know, these companies have always been saying, even if you read their service level agreements, they have always said we are partners in their business.
Which actually totally means something totally different as opposed to an employer.
Yes, which totally means something different.
Yes.
But now, because we don't have the regulations yet, we decided to go with that current state of partners. Now, what a partner means, if you read the Oxford English Dictionary, is that a partner is someone you've mutually agreed to engage in an activity with for mutual benefit.
Where you set the rules
Yes.
together.
So in this partnership of ours, what we have said is, for a long time, close to 6 years now, this partnership has been toxic because one partner has always been dictating the terms.
Yes.
Now what we are saying is, it is now time that this relationship now becomes mutual, whereby we come sit on the same table and agree. For example, last month, the fuel prices were hiked to 122 shillings and 80 cents per litre in Nairobi. Now, one of the companies, which I won't mention here, quickly moved and said they have adjusted their prices by 3 shillings. Now, what that means is that from Nairobi CBD to Kitengela is 30 kilometers. So an addition of 3 shillings per kilometer means an increase of 90 shillings. Now, two questions arise.
Yes.
In this partnership, whom did this app company sit with to agree that given the increase in the fuel prices to 122 shillings and 80 cents, an adjustment of 3 shillings per kilometer was adequate? Number two, whom did this app company consult? Because this is a partnership, as they say. So what we have decided is that we called all companies to come and sit with us and agree, so that we say, now given these are the running costs of this business.
Yes.
Because when you are a partner, if we decided today with you to open an M-Pesa shop, as partners, we will go sit down, agree on the location, agree on the rent, how we are going to share the rent, whom we are going to employ in that thing, how much capital is required, and how we are going to share the profits.
Yes.
That's what we call a partnership. So in this case, what we are saying, there are costs to this business. The app owner has his app. I have my car as a partner. I have a driver, or I'm driving this car. There are costs to maintaining this car on the road. And all these figures are in the public domain. If you read the AA, the Automobile Association booklet on the costs of running a car, it is clear and it is indicated. You can know how much it takes to maintain a 1500cc car on a Kenyan road, 2000cc car on the Kenyan road, a 1000cc car on the Kenyan road. So what we want to do is that we want to sit down with these companies, agree with them that the cars that we are driving are between 650cc to 1500cc.
Yes.
To keep this car on the road, it takes this much. Daily, this is what we spend on fuel. This is what we spend on licensing. And for your information, to put a car on the road on these platforms is not a joke. Apart from the normal taxation by government, whereby you import the car, you pay the taxes at the port and everything, the car reaches Nairobi, it goes for valuation, it goes for to NTSA, everything. Some of these companies have other charges. For example, a company like Uber, after you've done inspection at NTSA, which is the government recognized body in law for all inspection of cars in the country, Uber have their own private inspection centers again, where you go and pay. On top of what the already government has said, this car is roadworthy, and it has given them a clean bill of health, the car, a clean bill of health. But still, when you want to put it into the Uber platform, you are again required to pay another fee for inspection. So in total, you will find that before this car goes online, you've spent a lot of money. But what happens? When the car now goes onto the platform, you have no control whatsoever of how much that car is going to bring for you.
Yes.
Because someone seated somewhere on a laptop with some funny algorithms that have never been explained to anyone. We've been to several government meetings. I remember there was a time we met the former PS Transport, Professor Maringa, and he asked Uber how they do calculate their fares. They were unable to explain their algorithms. So someone seated somewhere with a laptop tells you, you are now going to carry this passenger at 22 shillings per kilometer, without knowing the cost of the fuel, maintenance, the taxes, all the permits
Yes.
that you are required to pay. For example, now currently in Nairobi, the CBD, Nairobi is now currently under NMS. Parking is a major issue in this town. The app companies don't care where you drop or even pick the clients in this CBD. Now, parking has been automated in Nairobi. You drop someone outside these your offices, because there is no drop off point, the KRA guy just takes a photo of your license plate number. In 2 minutes, you receive a message, you have not paid your parking. If you don't pay within the next 30 minutes, you receive a message, your car is now clamped. You are required to pay 2,200. All this, no company knows what drivers are going through.
Yes.
So what we have decided is that we want all those companies to come. We sit, we do the mathematics of the cost of running this business and agree on what should be charged so that every one of us makes money.
Yes.
Looking at the current scenario, these companies determine the price and they determine their commissions. And the irony in this business is, from 2015, when Uber came to Kenya, their prices have fallen from 60 shillings per kilometer when they came to Kenya,
Yes.
to 16 shillings per kilometer, but their commission has never fallen from 25% of each trip.
So, Wycliffe, when you look at these issues now, do
Yes.
they just boil down to who controls the price? Is that what it is that we're talking about really when it comes to deciding whether somebody is an employer or somebody is a partner or somebody is an employee within that aspect now? And do you think that there has been, because we do know where it is, counties actually do consider companies like Uber as fully companies operating within that specific county? That's fine. So where is this disconnect coming from? Because if a county like Nairobi considers Uber a company that pays taxes within that county, why don't we then start chatting, where are your employees and what benefits are they getting? Where is the disconnect?
In fact, you've just hit the nail on the head.
Yes.
The disconnect in this business started with the licensing regime. When these companies came to Kenya, they said they are just an app. And they were actually licensed just like as a digital service provider.
Yes, yes.
But the irony again was that in this country, anything dealing with technology, we have the ICT authority. I remember the last time we were at the ministry, these companies were asked whether they were licensed by the ICT authority as digital service providers.
Yes.
None of them had that licensing. Meaning, these are companies that took advantage of a loophole in our laws to hoodwink Kenyans into believing that they were just an app, when in the real sense, they were normal taxi companies just using technology to provide the service. And I'm happy because when we started speaking out on these issues, many people, many Kenyans, including government,
Yes.
never understood what we were talking about. But we were vindicated because, as we speak today, we have several companies that used to do normal taxi business before Uber came to Kenya that today have apps. A company like Jimcab,
Yes.
Kenatco, and many others. Those companies are normal transport companies offering taxi services through an app. And their license is very clear. They are transport companies.
So they have employees in that
Yes,
regard.
they have employees.
Yes.
But when it comes to these foreign companies, for example, Uber and Bolt, they have managed to dupe government for all these years. They are just an app. So why we are praying and asking our parliament to put more emphasis on regulating this industry is because part of one of the benefits that we shall have in that regulations,
Yes.
number one, is that all companies that are doing this business in Kenya shall be required to operate as per the Kenyan law. As you know, to date, Uber drivers are working under the law of Netherlands. Bolt drivers are working under the law of Estonia. What that means is that the jurisdiction of our Kenyan courts does not apply to the two companies. So what we are saying, once regulations are passed, and in those regulations, the transition clause is very clear.
Yes.
That once the laws are passed, within 90 days, all companies shall be required to start working as per those laws.
Yes.
So once those laws are passed, we shall be talking about 90 days of working under the Kenyan law. And when we come to the Kenyan law, I think it has everything. It has everything, from licensing to jurisdiction,
Yes.
to everything, to labor laws, to workers' rights, and everything.
Yes.
So that is the first step. But as I said, this process has taken a bit long. And as we speak, you are aware currently we are under lockdown in Nairobi. We have hundreds of drivers currently who are not able to pay their rent, who are not able to put food on the table. Because as you know, the entire 2020, there was actually no work. Just as I was stepping in, I saw you talking to one of the managers of one of the city hotels.
Yes.
And when you hear hotels complain of 5% booking, that tells you directly that that is a direct impact also on the taxi segment, because it is us who carry these clients to those hotels. So when the hotel is not working, we are also not working. When the airports are closed, like the entire last year, when the airports were totally shut, we were not able to work. Now, just as we began 2021, and we saw the curve like it had flattened, and we are going back to normal. In less than 2 months, another lockdown has come. Now, this lockdown is coming when the fuel prices have just risen up last month. And I'm told that in the next fortnight, the fuel prices are going up by another 6 shillings. All this is being done without any consideration from the app companies that who is bearing this cost. It is the owner of the car and the driver. So actually what we have decided to do under the self-regulation that we are talking about,
Yes.
our deadline that we gave to the app companies on the 15th to come and discuss with us expired last Sunday. And I'm a very sad person as we speak, because all these people who have been saying that we are partners in this business, and people whom have totally benefited from our sweat for all these years, have refused to come and talk to us and agree on how we are going to run this business. So we are actually having a plan. And tomorrow, which is on Friday, and we have decided that we are going to make an announcement of whom we are going to work with, because we have terms that we are going to work with going forward, and they shall be made public tomorrow.
Pretty much. Wycliffe, thank you very much.
Thank you
for coming by on a Metropole Television.
Thank
we
you.
appreciate it. All right, we take a short break. Once we come back, we shall be looking at the other issues that you're waking up to within the economy. Top on that. Did we deserve an economic package as we got into this new wave of containment measures to curb the spread of COVID-19? Shortly here on A Business App.